There we go. Welcome, everybody. My name is Nathan Ricks. Really glad that you've been able to join us today. This meeting is coming to you live via Fuse Meeting. Great little tool we have here to do webinars and help people understand our business and what we're all about. I want to start off by just asking you to minimize the distractions in your environment. Turn off your cell phones. Don't even leave them on vibrate, okay? I really want your full, undivided attention. John F. Kennedy had a saying. He said, wherever you're at, be there. And that's really good advice for most adults and for those that are listening to the conference right now. So what we're going to do is I would ask you to also grab a pen and a piece of paper. We're going to cover really key points today, and I'm going to speak to you about money in probably a way that you've never been spoken to before about money. They don't teach this at college or in high school, and most people's parents didn't know it to teach it to them. I never learned it in my home with my family. I had to learn it kind of on my own and from some great mentors, and it's made a really big difference in our life and our family, and I think it can for you too. So having said that, let's start off. I'd like to tell you where I began in this company. The name of the company is Nu Skin. We started in this company back in 1989, and at the time I had a small real estate brokerage in Salt Lake City, Utah. I remember coming home late one day from the office, and I was just kind of tired and hungry, wanted to eat dinner and relax. That wasn't meant to be that night because the telephone rang, and on the end of that phone was my brother-in-law, Craig Tillotson. He started telling me for the next 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes how great this thing Nu Skin was, how it's going to really grow. Now's the time to join. You know, the thing's going to go to the moon, blah, blah, blah. The whole time I'm fending him off in my mind thinking I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to join, I'm not going to listen to this stuff. Finally, I get a word in there edgewise, and I just said, Craig, thanks for the phone call. I really appreciate you thinking about me, but I am not going to do it. And I was just really definite about it. Thank goodness he wasn't a wimp, and he just came back really strong, and he said, what is your problem? And sometimes only family can speak to family like that. That's how he was talking to me. I thought, great, he wants to know my problem. I think I'll tell him. And I said, Craig, here's my issue, okay? You've already been doing this for 3 or 4 years. You're already making something like $30,000 a month. You're already so far ahead of me that even if I started today, I'd probably never catch up. I'd just keep pushing you higher. And I'm so competitive that would drive me crazy literally for the rest of my life. And that's my problem. And I was being 100% completely honest when I was telling him, this issue that I was having. And he just came back strong again, and he didn't back down. He just said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. He said, why should you begrudge me this money I'm already making? I didn't see you here doing Nu Skin with me. He said, you chose real estate. I chose Nu Skin. Maybe you chose wrong. And he said, just write it down, Nathan. I'm going to move forward in this company with or without you. And I will make $100,000 a month whether you do it or not. Now, that's just a really inflammatory comment for a competitive person like me, right? And I just thought in my mind, if he does that, it's going to be painful. And that's where he just kind of cracked my brain open. And then he said the phrase that I remember most. And he said, Nathan, he said, your problem is you're in the wrong vehicle. And he wasn't talking about my car I was driving. He was talking about my financial vehicle, my real estate deal that I was using to make my living and feed my family. He said, it's like you're pedaling a 10-speed bicycle. He said, me, I'm driving a Ferrari. Doesn't matter how fast you pedal, you will never catch me in my Ferrari. And he kind of left it at that. And I remember thinking, okay, I'll look into it. And the next day when I went to my real estate office, I'm thinking in my own mind, now, why is this thing a bicycle? What's wrong with this compared to what he's doing over there with Nu Skin? And what he kept saying was this. He kept saying, this is a way that you can work hard one time. You work hard, you take a bunch of effort, and you crunch it into a 4 or 5 year time frame. And you get really serious about this, and you can potentially be done financially for the rest of your life. Now, no one had ever told me that there was even a way to do something like that. I'd always heard, you're going to work a long time, and you're going to have to struggle and save, and you're going to have to make sure you get your retirement plans built up and whatever. I never had anybody tell me that I could play the accelerated game of life, that I could crunch a whole bunch of work into a relatively short period of time and end up creating financial security for me and my family. So I had to really dig into this. After 2 weeks, I said, I'm in. That was June 15th of 1989. So 23 years ago and 2 weeks now. So here we are, June 29th, right? Yeah, okay. 2012. It's been unbelievable. What an incredible ride for me and my family over the last, 23 years. And I'm going to show you parts of why that's been so amazing as we go through this presentation. And my job today is to irritate you a little bit. And I need to point out to you in the most stark contrast possible the difference between this business right here that can be a recurring income vehicle and whatever else you're doing to try to make your money and pay your bills right now. And I'm going to be direct, so I'm not going to apologize for it. I'll just warn you up front. That's kind of what needs to happen so you can get it. I really feel it. It's very important that you get it today. You understand what we're saying. So you can look at that slide on your screen. We enable people to live a life of wellness and vitality, a life of long-term economic security and prosperity and purpose. And most employees that are surveyed about their job satisfaction say there isn't any and that they don't have any purpose in their job. They just do it to pay bills. That's a pretty hollow existence. So we're going to show you something a little bit better and a little bit different today so that you can actually see how this works, okay? So what we're going to do is just advance the slide there. All right, so we've all seen these headlines for the last 5 years, 5 years, I would say 2007 through now. It's been a tough ride, and most businesses have been declining, kind of going down, 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 lots of layoffs, lots of problems and lots of issues. The worst part of it is that the markets have not performed well, and so all the money managers are way behind on their projections of the returns they thought they could earn for all the city and state and county and federal pension plans. Social Security, we know, is already bankrupt. We borrowed everything out of that and given them a piece of paper. I wouldn't plan on a lot of these things that most people think they're going to have for retirement. When you ask people individually, have you saved enough, it's not even close. I mean, people are so woefully behind in terms of their amount of money they need to live on. They're thinking they're going to live on a quarter, a third of what they make now. Not going to happen. So at the same time, it's been really bad out there for most people. Nu Skin's business just keeps going up and up and up and up. We're seeing record year after record year, 4 record years in a row now. We just had a record quarter, the first quarter of this year, and we finished the second quarter tomorrow. And I think I can tell you it's going to be another record quarter just from what I see, the activity that I see that's taking place. So why is that happening? This is an important question, and we're going to talk about it as we go through these 5 key points right now. Okay, so these are the parts I want you to write down, and as I go through each of these parts, I'm going to stop and go back to them and ask you if you're able to jot down 1 thing or 2 things or 3 things so that you can actually capture this information. I've just found out over all these years that unless you write it down, you make a few notes, within 5 hours, people don't even remember what I said. Maybe that's reflective of me as the speaker or something, I don't know. But anyway, just listen to these points. We're going to talk about market trends, and I'm going to tell you why that's top on the list. Number 2, products and science. Number 3, who's the company, and can you trust them? Can you make them your partner? Number 4 is the compensation. Number 5 is timing. So let's just go ahead and go through all of these right now one by one. Let's first off talk about market trends. When I look at this, I mean, the context of trends is this. You've got to have enough vision to spot the big trends, the big movements in the economy. And if you do that, an ordinary person can accomplish extraordinary things because a rising tide lifts all ships, doesn't it? Sure it does. And if you can get in a place where everything's going up, you're going to get swept along up with it. And so I was just fortunate enough to find one of these major trends about 23 years ago, and I've been riding that trend ever since, and that trend has done nothing but get bigger and more dynamic. And so we're doing it again today, and I'm going to speak about it in just a second. So the key question here is, what are the trends? And I ask people even, what is a trend, right? A trend to me is nothing more than where money is now flowing in the economy. 6, 7 years ago, money was flowing like crazy in the real estate sector of the economy in America. Not anymore. If you're in real estate, you got 2 choices. You can sit there and waste 10 years of your life and try to wait for real estate to come back. I don't know about you, but I don't got a decade to waste. Or you can decide, I'm an entrepreneur, and I realize that money's always flowing somewhere in the economy, so just need to find out where it's flowing now and get in front of it so it can raise my boat, so I can benefit and get swept along by forces that are bigger and more powerful than just me. I'm sorry to inform everybody listening, but nobody listening is so cool you can make your own trend. Sorry. You just got to have enough vision to spot the trends. To me, there's three major global mega trends, and Nu Skin is positioned in front of all of them. And that's not an accident, okay? That's on purpose. Number one is the anti-aging movement. You see that on your screen right here. It's going to be $1 trillion in the next 13 years. It was $250 billion last year. What is that market? It's any product or service that helps people live better longer and look better longer. So that's what anti-aging is all about. Why do we have a huge anti-aging marketplace right now? Why is there demand for anti-aging products? It's because of lifespan. Human lifespan has been extended radically in the last 110 years. Think about 1900 in America, 112 years ago, okay? What was life expectancy then? 47 years of age. So in 1900, people didn't worry about anti-aging because largely they died before they got wrinkles, before they started aging. So there wasn't any market, there wasn't any demand. But today, the average life expectancy for men and women in America is almost 80 years of age. That's an incredible extension of human lifespan. It will likely get longer in the future. And as people live longer, what they want is they want to live better and they want to look better. We've done all this research on anti-aging, this marketplace that we're attacking here. Guess what we've learned? People don't necessarily mind getting older. What they really hate is getting ugly. That's what they hate about getting old. So if you had a way to help people look better longer, they might not mind being older so much. And so that's one of the key things that is driving this market, lifespan, okay? It's a massive industry. It's big enough for everybody. Do you have any idea how big $1 trillion is? I mean, it's really, really big number, right? So it's a huge market, and we are positioned better than anyone. We've been chasing the anti-aging market since I joined this company. More than 25 years we've been on it. We've been on it longer than anybody. We're owning that market. Okay, major global megatrend number 2 is the obesity epidemic, okay? What country in the world has the fastest growing rate of obesity? People say the United States. Wrong. It's China. China's got the fastest growing rate. We're already fat here in America, and so is Europe and everybody else, right? But China's just getting there. Asia's just getting there. This is a huge, enormous problem. One disease that is largely driven by obesity is diabetes. The rate of increase in the new cases of adult onset diabetes is so staggering that that disease alone could bankrupt America. Absolutely could bankrupt it. Look, you can say, well, I can eat what I want, or I can smoke if I want. I can do these things if I want. Well, I guess you can if you really want to, but just remember, everybody's paying for it. We're all paying for it now, right? Obamacare survived yesterday, so we're all going to pay for it now. I personally think they ought to rate, people based on their health insurance costs like they do rate you for being a driver. You're a horrible driver, you have higher rates. If you want to trash yourself and kill yourself, you probably ought to pay higher rates, So the fact is, right now, we're all in it together, folks. And, we got to figure it out because diabetes is a huge problem. Nu Skin scientists, by the way, have announced that in next year, October of 2013, they're going to be launching the first ever genetic weight loss program. It's going to be a completely different approach than people have had before. It will make a big dent. If I were you, I would get involved in this company now, and I would build the biggest network you can build in the next 14, 15 months here, so that when that thing rolls out, you can capture the explosion that's going to happen in the volume of this company. Major global megatrend number 3 is the growing need for supplemental income. Millions, hundreds of millions of people across the world have now figured out that they just simply don't have the money set aside, and the pension plans aren't going to be ready for them, and they're going to need an extra $500 or $1,000 a month. That's exactly what we provide people with the Nu Skin opportunity. It'll be the difference of going to the dentist or not being able to do that. And as people retire over the next 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to be shocked by how unprepared they are, and they're going to need supplemental income. We have all of these, folks, right here at Nu Skin. We're done with number 1. I hope you wrote down something about the trends and why the trends are so important. In summary, just remember that the most important thing in any business is to spot the trends first and then find out what opportunity can match those trends and be swept along by them, forces that are way larger and more powerful than you and I. All right, number 2 is products and science. Let's move on to that. And by the way, these trends are worldwide, every continent, not just the U.S. All right, number 2, let's go to products and science, okay? Here's the context for products and science that fits inside of this. In this company, we have learned over these many years that for us to be most successful with our products, we want products that have patents, copyrights, and intellectual property that surround them. If we have that, it means we can control the product availability. You can't get it anywhere else because we own the patents. We actually can control pricing. We can control distribution better, and it's better all the way around. We can build on those platforms and continue to innovate and make better products as we control the intellectual property surrounding them. We also want products that make a visual difference in the way people look, whether it's lose weight, whether it's more vitality, whether it's changing the look of their face or, their arms or, whatever part of their body, right? We want products to make a visual difference in the way people look. When that happens, that attaches to people emotionally. They are emotionally driven to continue to consume that product to get those results and those benefits. And we want, number 3, highly consumable products. In this company, we talk about creating a recurring stream of income. A stream of income at some point that you can continue to receive even after you don't work as hard anymore. Okay? The only way you can do that would be possible is if you have products that are highly consumable. Preferably disappear every month and people buy their monthly supply every month. And they're driven to do it because of the benefits and the emotional attachment to that product. We've been very successful in creating these kinds of environments around our products. All right, that's the framework, okay? Now, let's talk about Time Magazine that you see on your screen there. This was a year ago. It said right on the cover, why your DNA is not your destiny. Now, before this, people thought it was. They just kind of thought, hey, my dad had heart disease. I'm going to have it. Mom died of cancer. I'm going to get cancer, It's just baked into my DNA. Nothing I can do about it. Kind of a fatalistic approach to the future, if you ask me. Well, as they finished decoding the human genome, it became apparent to them that this was not the case. And in fact, that you could change the future. And that subheading, which you can't really read right there, but we blew it up on the screen so you can read it, says the new science of epigenetics reveals how the choices you make can change your genes. Now, that was never thought possible, but now we know that's the fact. How great a news is that? What it means is you don't have to age like your parents did. You don't have to get the same diseases they got. It can be different for you than it was for them. Is that good? Absolutely great. How many of you have heard the word epigenetics or epigenome? Probably hardly anyone's heard that word. Remember, you heard it from Nu Skin right here for the first time, okay? Because you're going to hear it a lot in the next 10 years. The epigenome was discovered through the process of decoding the human genome. That was finished 8 years ago, and they discovered there's this thing that's 50 times more complex, and it sits on top of your DNA. And what it does is it regulates the expression of your DNA. Now, most people probably realize that DNA is virtually indestructible. The police can find a fragment of DNA even 20 years later and still find the criminal. So DNA is virtually indestructible as it sits. You've got a complete copy of your entire DNA in every cell of your body. How does it know to make an eye and make a nose and make an ear where they're all supposed to be instead of getting that all mixed up, right? How does your body know how to do that? It knows how to do it because of the epigenome. The epigenome turns off certain sections of your DNA. It turns on other sections of your DNA so that it makes a nose where a nose is supposed to be and an eye where an eye is, and it doesn't get all mixed up. The body is a miracle. It's unbelievable how it works, right? So that's the epigenome. What Nu Skin has figured out how to do is to work through your epigenome to influence the expression of your DNA, specifically to make your DNA act like it did when you were young. Can anybody else in the world do that? Not right now. Nobody's talking about this except for us. We didn't actually figure it out. These two gentlemen on your screen did, Dr. Richard Windrick and Thomas Prola from LifeGen Technologies. These gentlemen started at the Primate Research Center for Aging at the University of Wisconsin. And after 30 years, they had developed so much great intellectual property and patents and ideas that they needed to be commercialized, and they formed a company called LifeGen Technologies to do just that. These gentlemen have been on every major news program that you've ever seen, highly published, hundreds of papers, just very prolific, world leaders in their field. Nu Skin formed a collaboration with them, and we actually ended up working with them through the help of Dr. Joseph Chang. You see him here. Joe is our chief scientific officer who discovered these guys. He runs the entire scientific effort for Nu Skin, and he saw what they were doing and said, wow, this does need to be commercialized. So we struck a partnership with them. And in our first year with our first partnership, we launched the ageLOC product line. That's a new brand for Nu Skin. What a great name, ageLOC, right? Lock in your age. That was so successful, that first product, that Nu Skin said, we need to own these guys, and they bought LifeGen Technologies last October of 2011. So now we own them. Now they work for Nu Skin. And so we have complete control of 30 years of genetic research and data. How are our competitors going to crunch 30 years in the next 1 or 2 to try to compete? Not going to happen. So this becomes a huge barrier of entry to our competitors as we infuse ageLOC technology in the entire product offering of Nu Skin. We have over 400 products in the North American market. So eventually they will all be age-locked, right? And it puts us way ahead of everybody else, okay? We work on the inside and the outside. Let's talk about inside products first, okay? We have this remarkable biophotonic scanner. You may have been scanned before by a Nu Skin distributor and been able to get your antioxidant score. It's such an important thing. Everybody needs to know what it is, right? Dr. Oz, the famous doctor on television who is constantly trying to educate people on health and wellness and anti-aging, had his staff call us. We didn't call them. They called us a year ago and said, Dr. Oz wants to do a show on antioxidants. And we understand that your company is the only company in the world that actually can measure antioxidants in real time in living human tissue. And they said, would you consider bringing some of these scanners to the studio, because we would like to scan the entire studio audience before the show. So we did that. Our company went out there with some individuals and some scanners. We scanned about 200 people in the studio audience before the show began. Dr. Oz's staff scanned them and then dressed every one of those studio audience members in a t-shirt that is the color of their scan score. And if you can see on the bottom of your screen right there, the scan score goes from red, which is the worst, you don't want to be red, to orange, which is horrible, to yellow, which is not good, to green, which is starting to get better, to blue, which is excellent. Okay, everybody really should be in the blue category. That's what you ought to strive for. When Dr. Oz walked out to start the show, he looked at the studio audience, and he looked at 85% of them wearing red and orange t-shirts. He said, I'm shocked. He said, you're a cross-section of America. In other words, this is horrible, This is not good. He said, I figured if you guys followed me, you would watch my show, we wouldn't have anybody in a red t-shirt. And yet 85% were there. Only 6 people in that studio audience were in a blue t-shirt. I mean, think about that. That is just disgusting, frankly, when you think about it. Then Dr. Oz went ahead and scanned himself live on the air. That's pretty gutsy. 75,000 was his score. Way up in the blue, like really high. Here's a guy who walks his talk and does what he says he's going to do, right? That's something that's really impressive to me, and I'm sure you're impressed as well. Why is it so important for Dr. Oz to put this on his show and talk about Nu Skin's biophotonic scanner? Because this number, your antioxidant score, is maybe the most important biomarker that you will ever know in your life, because it's predictive of your future, where all the other measurements are kind of like, it's kind of too late. They're kind of like after the fact. Once they go bad, they're bad. This one, you can change things. So the average American scores 19,000. That's horrible. What you want to do is you want to be 40,000 or higher, okay? What is an antioxidant anyway? Why are we so concerned about these things? Every one of you have cut an apple in half before. What happens to the now exposed surface of the apple within minutes? It starts to go brown, doesn't it? It starts to rust, in essence. But what's happening is the oxygen molecules in the air, which are unstable, sometimes called oxygen-free radicals, they actually will start to react with the surface of the apple now, just incessantly, just every second, thousands hitting the surface of the apple. And it starts to oxidize or rust the apple. That's exactly what's happening. All right. So what do you do, folks, if you want to protect the apple? If you're having a barbecue and you're serving sliced up apples, peaches, and pears, you don't want them to look brown and yucky before the guests show up. What do? Well, you can squeeze lemon juice on them. What's in the lemon juice that protects the fruit? Vitamin C. And everybody knows that vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. So it stops the oxidation or the rusting or the rotting of the apple, right? Exactly. How long does it protect it for? 3 or 4 hours maximum. And then the vitamin C is exhausted because the oxygen just keeps coming, neutralize until it's exhausted. And so then what do? If you want to protect it still, squeeze on some more lemon juice, protect another 3-4 hours, right? So how does this relate to our bodies? Well, the key is to have enough antioxidant protection inside the tissues of your body to protect them every day from free radical damage. How do we do that with Nu Skin's products? Well, this right here is called LifePak. Okay, this is nothing more than human lemon juice. That's all it is. So we take one of these packs and we squeeze it in the morning, and we take one and we squeeze it in at night, and we coat the tissues of our body and protect ourselves from free radical damage. So that's the process. And some people will say, well, I don't like to swallow capsules and I don't want to take pills. Can I just do this without having to take all this stuff? Well, you probably could if you did the following. Had a really good garden right behind your house. A garden that lasts 365 days a year. So you can pick fresh stuff every single day. If you can get some really good fertilizer from your farmer down the street, and just keep that soil really up to date, and you can eat this fruit or these vegetables within 2 hours of harvesting them, and don't kill them when you cook them, okay? Then you can probably get by without taking LifePak. But if that's not your case and you have to go to work and you don't have a place to grow things and you can't grow it all year long and you certainly can't eat every time within 2 hours of picking stuff, then you're going to have to supplement, okay? That's just the bottom line. Most people just aren't even close trying to eat it, okay? I mean, listen to this, okay? It started off at 5 servings a day. That was the recommendation about 10 years ago. Then it went to 9 servings a day. What is it now? 15 servings a day of fruits and vegetables is the current recommendation from the USDA. How many people graze that much every day? Hardly anybody does, right? The average American eats 3 servings of vegetables and fruits a day. 2 of those are French fries. Sorry, that doesn't count, right? So we are woefully deficient. The best thing that most people can do is find a great supplement and get on it, okay? And take it every day for the rest of your life. And then get scanned for $10. You can know your antioxidant score. It's nothing. Okay, get scanned by a Pharmanex biophotonic scanner and get your score from us. 5 international patents. You can't get this score anyplace else. We control the measurement technology. How big of an opportunity do you think this is? 65% of Americans today already take some kind of supplement, whether it's calcium supplements for osteoporosis or vitamin C or whatever they think they want to take, right? They already believe in it. Even with all the other people trying to discourage them and dissuade them, and doctors sometimes saying, oh, that's a joke, they don't do anything. Well, if they don't do anything, then, help me understand why my score needs to be high on the scanner, why that's so important. Dr. Oz thinks it's important, so get up to date, docs, if you're not up to speed on why this is important. And so the fact is that you need to get that score and you need to get it high. And you got to get it as high as you can and keep it there the rest of your life. And most people that are taking supplements anyway, all you have to ask them is one question. How do you know they're working? Do you know if your supplements are working? Everybody has to admit they don't know. You can say, would you like to know if you're wasting all your money or if it's doing something? Then put your hand up here. $10 will tell you. Most people want to know if they're wasting their money or not. And most people are. Virtually every brand of supplements that we've measured, with rare exceptions, don't do anything. People are getting nothing from them. They're wasting all their money. And so you find a great brand like LifePak from Nu Skin, you get on it, it is guaranteed to raise your score or your money back in 60 days. No one else can give that guarantee because no one else has a measurement tool. What if you owned a company and you had the exclusive rights to measure blood pressure? Would that be a big opportunity? What if you had exclusive rights to measure blood sugar or cholesterol, and they all had to come to you to get the measurement? Would that be a big opportunity? That's what we're talking about with the Biophotonic scanner. Okay, hope you're getting it. All right, so we got great weight loss products today, but genetic weight loss coming next year. We got G3, we got Vitality, we got, incredible numbers of products for the inside of your body, all kinds of things that you can use. Let's do outside quickly. Right in the middle screen there, right on your slightly left side next to that blue bottle, you can see a galvanic spa. It's got a small silver head on it, and that product has 2 patents. We can now take galvanic technology and put it in the palm of your hand. Instead of $100 at a treatment, a galvanic treatment at a spa someplace, you can now do it for less than $10 in your own home. This has been a huge winner for this company. We actually do half-face demonstrations on people. Why do we do a half-face anyway? Well, people will reply so people can see the difference from one side to the other, right? Well, that helps, and that does happen, and it happens in 5 minutes in a big way for most people. But the real reason is that we want them to buy it to fix the other half, right? Of course. No, what happens is people go out really lopsided if they only get half their face done, but that's all we do so we can demonstrate it. We've had people love this product. We've sold literally like 1 million units of this product. And so what happens is that people would buy 2 and they just want to go faster, over their whole body, do their legs and everything else. And so Nu Skin listened to the customers and came up with the Body Spa. So on the far right of your screen is something called the Body Spa. 8 times the treatment area. You can do your whole body really fast, tremendous results, 5 times the power. I mean, all these things. It's really a great product, been a huge success since we launched it a few months ago. My favorite product's just to the right of the Body Spa. It's that brown bottle called Liquid Body Loofah. This is a gel type loofah that you put on in the shower that has walnut husk abrasives in it. So it exfoliates, it gets rid of all the dead skin all over your body, but it doesn't do any damage to your skin. You just tingle. I mean, that's my favorite skincare product in the entire Nu Skin line. I love that product, and I love to use it every day if I could, or actually probably every 3 days is when I use it. So that's how it works, and you'll fall in love with some of these too. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that anymore because we spent too much on number 2, but I hope you wrote down 1 or 2 things on product and why products are so important. You got to have products. I get driven crazy by people who will say, well, it's just all about the money, it's just a marketing thing, it's just the money. That is the biggest crock. If you don't have real products that deliver real results and real benefits that are exclusive and unique, you don't have a business. So I hope you got something down about those products. Number 3, who's the company? All right, here's the context for looking at the company. Most of you're going to need to admit something before we can continue here. I hope that everybody admits that you can never make it financially working for someone else, because they're just going to pay you what they need to keep you coming back, but never enough to set you free. It's really impossible to get ahead being an employee and just getting a salary or a wage or punching a time clock, right? It'll never happen financially. Most people deep down inside know that for them to make it financially, they have to have their own business. They know that. They know otherwise there's not a chance. So with very few exceptions, you got to have your own deal. So if we already agree on that, then the question is really just one of 2 choices. Either you go start your own business and try to capture these major mega trends that we've already described today, and you hire the people and raise the money and drain your savings and do all the stuff. You get the HR, you get the lawyers, you build the product, you build the warehouse, do the manufacturing. I mean, you do all the brain damage. Or you have to decide if you can just partner with Nu Skin and trust them. Can you trust this company? That's kind of the key question, because if you can, then you take advantage of their $1 billion of investment in products, patents, science, technology, facilities, warehouses, legal, HR. I mean, all this stuff. They've already done it. And if anybody is listening right now and you're over age 45, you have no business starting your own business because you'll likely fail. You'll blow it, you'll lose everything, and then you don't have enough time to recover before retirement. You're toast. You'll work until you're dead. So just stop and think. For most people that are listening right now, your best option by far is going to be to decide if you can just trust this company and save your money. Don't risk it, okay? This thing has no risk, really. Very, very minor piece of risk here, okay? So that's the key. That's why it's better for most people. So let's talk about whether you can trust Nu Skin. Okay, number one, 2010, about 16, 18 months ago, Forbes magazine came out with this top 100 most trustworthy public company list. Nu Skin's number 5 on the list. Now, would that happen if this thing was a little shady, if it wasn't completely above board, it's a half a bubble off or something? A lot of people, they just have this weird image in their head, and rightfully so. There's a bunch of stupid network marketing companies out there that don't have what we have, but this isn't one of them, okay? Would Forbes put their reputation at risk by listing us as number 5 if this wasn't a great company? They wouldn't. I mean, it is a great company, and the deeper you dig, the more you're going to like what you see. The Stevie Awards, won them 3 times. Nu Skin won the award for the most innovative company in America with less than 5,000 employees last year. That's a pretty impressive thing. Additional winners are like Apple Computer, more than 5,000 employees, most innovative. That's the kind of company you're talking about, kind of an Apple-esque, company in this industry. So we've done great things, have the highest ratings you can get from Dun & Bradstreet. I mean, they're downgrading every bank in Europe and every country in Europe and even the U.S. government. Not Nu Skin. We still got the highest ratings you can get. We're doing great things in this company, and we've maintained that highest rating for 18 years straight. Unheard of. Nobody does that except a great company like this. 2011, one of the fastest growing public companies. We're doing business in 52 countries, soon to be 53 with the opening of Vietnam. If you have another language you speak, what an advantage you have over people that are language challenged like me with just one language, okay? I had this epiphany, just a quick side story, had an epiphany about 4 years ago. I woke up one morning and I realized when I woke up that I just made more money when I was sleeping than when I was awake. And I've got this big downline in Asia. And what's amazing about this downline is that when we go to sleep, they wake up and these people crank it out, okay? They do lots of business. So just compare the vehicle, okay? What are you doing now to make your money? Do you have a location to get paid out of any other country or maybe even another state? Probably not. Is there any chance that you could make money while you're sleeping? Most people have to wake up to an alarm clock and drag their carcass out of bed and go down someplace and work somewhere, work for 8 hours and make money, and then they go home, they don't make any money. That's the vast majority of people. I'm here to tell you right now that if you are the focal point of your income generation, if it always depends on you and you alone, and if you don't show up, you don't get paid, you're in real trouble because there's not enough of you to go around. I don't care if you make $500 an hour, it doesn't matter because as soon as you stop, it stops. You stop operating, drilling and filling teeth or, trying a case for a client. I don't care how much you make an hour. It stops. It stops. You're done. No money. You're the focal point. That is a big problem. Okay? So what you got to do is find a way to leverage yourself like this. And if you can find a way to do that without risk and without debt, so much the better, right? Absolutely. So we're doing business last year, $1.7 billion in revenue. My prediction, this is not Nu Skin, my prediction 2012 will crack $2 billion in revenue. What an amazing company. And in the next 5 to 6 years, we're going to grow to $5 billion. Now, if we're going to grow $3.3 billion in the next 5 or 6 years, is there opportunity here? Or do you think there's opportunity with some dumb startup company that has a hope and a prayer to get to $1 million a year maybe? I mean, give me a break. This is an intelligence test, I guess, Obviously, this is where the opportunity is. This is where the growth is. Serious growth, real business, real company, real products, right? Symbols NUS, go check it out for yourself. Deeper you dig, more you're going to like it. And I love the fact they reinvest. $90 million expansion at our headquarters in Provo. What a showpiece. New laboratory facilities, new distributor facilities, and so forth. And also even in China now, because we're growing so fast, new $50 million expansion there just outside of Shanghai, China, to manage and help support the growth we're having in Asia right now. I love the fact that they keep investing for us. And I say us because I'm one of you. I'm a distributor. I'm not an employee of Nu Skin, okay? I'm here just trying to encourage you to do the same thing that I've been doing for the last 23 years because it works if you work it. And I love the fact that they reinvest for us because if they build new laboratories and hire more scientists, we're probably going to get more breakthroughs and more patents and more breakthrough products. And that just helps all of us expand our businesses in the future, right? And so I hope that's it. How about Nourish the Children? You know, this is a great program from Nu Skin. We decided 8 years ago that we're going to solve the childhood starvation problem in this world, even if nobody wants to help us. And the number you see on the screen is old. We're well over 250 million, a quarter billion meals served to starving kids in North Korea, China, Africa, Haiti, all around the world. If there's a disaster like Japan's tsunami, all of a sudden Vitamills show up from Nu Skin that are specifically formulated to provide the nutrition that growing children need. We've adopted a country in Africa called Malawi. 5 years ago, they had the highest infant mortality rate in the continent of Africa. Now, the lowest, from bottom to top in 5 years. And a big piece of that was the impact that you, as Nu Skin distributors, have made in donating and just saying, I'm going to feed one child. I'm going to feed 10 children a day. Whatever you can do, do it. Ladies and gentlemen, you forego 5 Starbucks. You can save a child. Is that too much to ask? That too big of a sacrifice? Just to not have your Starbucks and save a life? I mean, it's an amazing thing you can do here. You want to have a purpose to what you do and what you're involved with? You want to be involved with a great company that gives back? You're looking at it right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the next step here. Let's talk about compensation. I hope you wrote down something about company. Okay, number 4, we're almost done. Hang in there. And this is the most dangerous one right here. This is where I ruin people because I actually tell you what it's going to really take. But I figure you might as well know. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you wasting my time. And I might ruin you right now. We'll see. Let's jump in and talk about it. First thing you need to do, if you like what you heard here, you think there's an opportunity here, you want to surf these massive trends we're talking about, if that's what you want to do, then you need to become an executive in Nu Skin as soon as you can. Most people do it in 60 days. Some take 90 days. You create a certain amount of volume and you're an executive in the company. When I became an executive, my income jumped 5 times the next month. Why? Because when you're just a distributor, which is where everyone starts, you only get paid on your first level. They buy direct from Nu Skin, you see it on your computer, and you can get paid on it. But when they tell their friends, and those people tell their friends and their family, and you got people on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th level that also buy direct from Nu Skin, you don't have to ever see the product, but you see it on the computer. You cannot get paid on that volume below your first level until you're an executive. So the key is become an executive. Now, you don't get rich being an executive. The average income is about $500 a month for an executive, but that's a car payment, or that starts to pay off some bills or some debt. You know, it starts to change people's lives, right? So do it. Become an executive. Then once you do that, it gets to be pretty simple. All you have to do after that is find 12 other people who can also become executives on your first level. That makes you a blue diamond, and you're in position to create real financial security for you and your family. Now you might be thinking, hey, 12 people, how hard can that be? Well, it's more difficult than you think. So we break it down in 4s. We get the first 4, then we get the second 4, we solidify those, we get the last 4, and then you finally are at the top of the compensation plan. Now, let's just go get the first 4 and back up and talk about this, okay? Just look right there. You can see that there's a number 4, and when you go out and get your first 4 executives, you become what we call a Ruby executive. And the average income for all Rubies last year in this company was $30,408. Just a little more than $2,500 a month coming into your budget, right? Okay, so here's what happens. You hear about this thing called Nu Skin. You try these products. You go, wow, they really do stuff. This stuff is for real. You start to tell people about it. Some of them actually want to buy it wholesale and join the business as well. You start to recruit people and find some leaders. And all of a sudden, a year goes by, okay, 12 months is what it takes from the day people hear about Nu Skin till the day they become Ruby executives on average. So 12 months goes by, and all of a sudden you're making $2,500 extra a month in your budget? What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. I mean, this is part-time on the side, evening and weekend. You don't quit your day job just yet, right? And you did this and created that kind of income. That's amazing. So what's the difficult part about doing this? Okay, fasten your seatbelts, because here we go. How many people do you think you have to personally recruit to end up with 4 of them as executives on your front line? You know, people will say 100. I've had people tell me 400, okay? Pessimistic, I would say. I've had people say 4, way too optimistic, right? The actual number is about 40 people. You need about 40. Now, some of you are picking up your jaw going like, why 40 people? That's a lot of people, you know. That just finished you off right there maybe, okay? Here's why 40 people, because half of them are going to quit almost immediately. Like within 90 days, they're done. Plan on it. It's normal. That's what always happens, okay? And some of you are a little freaked out still. You're like, well, why? Why would they quit? You know, can't I save them? No, actually, you can't. Can any of you control anybody else? I mean, most people can barely control themselves, let alone anybody else. So, no, you can't control them. There's nothing you can do about it. So why do you worry and spend energy on things you can't control? Well, a lot of people are pretty good at doing that. They worry about most things they can't control, right? It's wasted energy. Okay, just focus on those 20 people that are remaining. That's all you worry about. You don't worry about the stuff you can't control, okay? I've had these people. I'll sign them up. They look me right in the eye and they say, Nathan, you watch. I'm going to be your best distributor. 90 days later, they're floating face down in the pond sucking water. They're done. It's over, okay? So just focus on the 20 that are left. What happens to the 20? 7 or 8 of them will use products for 3 or 4 months, and they'll quit, and you will never see them again. Another 7 or 8 will use products, and before they quit, they'll fall in love with 2 or 3 products, and they literally will buy them for the rest of their lives. That's good. And 4 or 5 will become executives on your front line and make you a Ruby and put $2,500 in your bank. That's what happens. That's the truth of it, right there. Now, maybe that's too hard for you. You know, you may say, oh, it's too hard. I can't get 40 people. Before you think it's too hard, let me tell you what's really hard. Living in abject poverty for the last 20 years of your life, not being able to do anything is really hard. Recruiting 40 people in the big scheme of things is not difficult, okay? It's not anywhere near as hard as the consequences. And the problem for most people is that you just don't have a lot of options. What are you going to do, work a job? Because that's never going to cut it. So before you think it's too hard, think again and maybe redouble your efforts with Nu Skin. I hope there's a few of you left that want to get the next 4 people with me. Let's go do it, okay? Let's go now get 8. Now we're diamond executives in Nu Skin. We've got 8 executives on our front line. The average income last year for all diamond executives in Nu Skin was $119,532. Just a little under $10,000 a month coming into your bank. Now it's getting serious, right? What's the average time that it takes? Well, new numbers as of last month. The average time from the day people hear about Nu Skin for the first time until the day they become diamond executives, 30 months, 2.5 years. How many of you have been doing something for 2.5 years to put food on the table and pay the rent? Probably most of you have been working somewhere. In your current financial vehicle, is it even possible to make $10,000 a month? If it is, can you make it consistently month in and month out? And if you could you do that even if you don't show up anymore? Probably not. See, there's certain things that are just bicycles compared to this Ferrari right here, all right? So what you do is you go out there and you put in the 2.5 years and you make it happen, okay? How many people do you need this time to get the next 4 executives on your front line? 40 more? Actually, no, you only need 30 this time. So it's getting better. How come it's getting better? Because you're getting better. You better be getting better because you've been doing this 2.5 years, right? So you got better answers to questions, you got better words in your mouth, you got a much higher confidence level, and so your percentages go up, and you don't need as many people. But you're still going to have to go get 30 this time, and half are going to quit. Plan on it. It's normal. It would be weird if they all stayed. That would not be normal. So half are going to quit. What about the 15 that are left? A handful will use products and quit. A handful will use products and fall in love. And another handful will become executives and make you a diamond and put about $10,000 a month in your bank. All right. How many people want to get the last 4? Usually everybody wants to now because it's all now, right? I can see the end. Okay, that's human nature. In the beginning, too tough. In the end, of course, I'm in. All right, let's get the last 4. When you do that, you now have 12 executives on your front line. You're now a blue diamond executive in Nu Skin. The average income for all blue diamonds last year was $568,920. or just a little bit more than $45,000 a month. The average time that it took those people from the day they heard about Nu Skin until the day they achieved the average Blue Diamond incomes is approximately 7 years. How many of you have been doing something for 7 years to pay your bills? Are you making $43,000 a month? I didn't think so. Excuse me, $45,000 a month? Yeah, because that's a big number, so that doesn't happen for very many people, and it certainly doesn't happen consistently month in and month out. That's what is possible in the Nu Skin compensation plan. Listen to me closely. This is not easy to do, okay? It's going to take work, effort, energy, consistency, focus. You're going to have to do all those things. But you know what? At least it's possible. In most places, it's not even close to possible, okay? So here you've got the chance to do it. How many people do you need this time? Only about 20, okay? So it gets better as you go. If it took you 10 years to become a Blue Diamond and reach the average Blue Diamond income, wouldn't that be worth it? Of course it would be worth it. If you knew you could be done and you could have $45,000 a month coming in, come on. Of course it'd be worth it. If it took you 20 years, but you knew at the end you could do that, it could be done, would that be worth it? Of course it would, because you don't have any kind of options like that with any other financial vehicle that anybody could show you. So anyway, let's move on. I think we've talked about compensation a lot. Companies paid more than $8 billion in commissions. This year we're going to cross $9 billion total compensation to distributors. I mean, who's doing that? Nobody is doing that. The slide right here is wrong. Last year was more than $750 million to our distributors. And if we do $2 billion this year, we're going to pay about $900 million in commissions this year. Remarkable. Next year, we're going to do more revenue, probably more than $1 billion in commissions the year after that. Who is paying $1 billion a year to their distributors? This company is going to do it, right? Last year, we were making a new millionaire every 6 days. Now, we're making a new millionaire every 5 days. My prediction, Nathan Rick's prediction, in 5 years from now, we'll make a new millionaire every single day. It's going to happen. That means that we have a distributor somewhere in the world whose next bonus check takes them over $1 million of total commissions they've received from Nu Skin. They're part of the $1 million circle. If we already have, like it says here, 781, that was last November, right? We're like 840 or 50 right now. If we already have that with a company at $2 billion, how many are we going to have when the company does $5 billion? Obviously, we're going to have a couple of thousand or more people in the millionaire circle. And if we stop now and we just leveled off at $2 billion, we're still going to crank out more and more millionaires, right? Part of the million circle is going to keep coming. So this is a remarkable thing. It's so rare to see something like this. So how do you build this? Well, there's a network on your screen. You're in the center of this network. You get some customers. Everybody needs customers. So go get the customers and just sell them product. Make a retail profit. There's nothing wrong with that, right? People just want to buy it. Some want to be distributors because they want to get it at wholesale and join the company. Great. Enroll them. Let them do that, okay? Some want to be executives. Sign them up and let them see how leadership works. And they say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to leverage myself, right? And so you do it. And then they find other executives who find other executives, and it spreads all over the world, whether you want it to or not. Is that kind of diversification great? I bet a lot of people that only have euros right now are kind of worried. Yeah, I'd probably want some other currencies. That's what we're talking about right here. There's no vehicle like this that you've ever seen. It's the best business you'll ever see. So get involved and do it. What are your choices? Well, here's 6 packages here. They're all $360. If all you want to do is use product, great. Buy one of them. Buy 2 of them. Be a happy customer. We'll love it if you just be a consumer of products. But if this makes sense and you want to do it as a business, then go out there and buy any 3 of these. They're $360 each. It'll be just a little more than $1,000. And that will trip the first month of qualification to become an executive. Just the order alone trips the first month, okay? That's why you want to do it. For those of you listening real time today, right now, it's June 29th. Make the order today because you saved the whole month of June on the last day virtually. So then July, you just finish it off and you can become an executive on August 1st. And then you can have your income jump because you get paid on everybody. do not delay. What's the last point that we're talking about? It's timing, right? I mean, is it the right time? Folks, this is the most important part of timing. You can be at the right place, right time, right opportunity, but if you don't take action, none of it means anything. So do it, and do it now. The risk is you'll miss the opportunity. There's not really a financial risk here. Okay, the risk is you miss it. The worst thing that can happen to you in Nu Skin is you're going to live longer and look better. That's as bad as it gets, right? So if nothing bad can happen, it's only upside, then why not do it? Plug in now. Do not put it off even till tomorrow. The odds of you joining 24 hours from now drop to less than 50%. Why? It's not that the nature of Nu Skin or the products or compensation or anything changed. That's all the same. It's that your brain changed. Life got in the way. You got distracted. We are creatures of habit. We just go right back to what we know unless we force ourselves to do something different. You ever heard that song about freedom? You know, we're talking about freedom. We're talking about freedom. You got to fight for the right to have freedom. We are talking about freedom right here. Freedom and control of your life and your time, okay? This vehicle can deliver that to you, but it can't do it if you're not in it, okay? You have to fight to make a change. That's just it. You're your own biggest obstacle, okay? So you got to fight to change, and you got to do it consistently. You do this for a year, folks, you'll have it figured out, and you'll have a high degree of confidence that you know you can go right to the top, and it will change your entire life if you can do that. And that's my hope for you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your attendance. Get back to the person that put you on the webinar, and let's do it. Have a great day. Signing off now. Nathan Ricks over here.